Hello dear students, welcome back again to Chinmoy's biology channel. So today we are here with the second lesson of 8th CBSE Science, that is the microbial world, or you can also say that microorganisms, friend and foe. So let us start with today's lesson. I hope you have already gone through the previous lesson which I have already posted, that is crop production and management. So in 3 parts I have posted the previous lesson. Please do go through it. And then we are today going to start with this lesson, the microbial world. Now, what are the learning objectives of today's lesson? That is the intended learning outcome. At the end of this lesson, we would be knowing that the characteristic features of microorganisms. We will be knowing the different types of microorganisms and where do these microorganisms live. The uses of different microorganisms in different spheres of life. In the next class, we will be studying about the diseases caused by the microorganisms in plants as well as in animals. And in the next class, we'll also study about the methods used to preserve food. So dear students, please do subscribe to my channel if you want to know more regarding your science lessons. You need to stay tuned, stay updated with all the lessons which I am posting. So today's part I'll be discussing in full with you, and few parts of this lesson will be discussed in the next part. So please do subscribe, stay tuned, share it with your friends. So let's get started with today's episode. So let's get started with today's lesson, that is the microbial world or the microorganisms, friend and foe. So what are microorganisms? The living organisms, they are present everywhere. So these are only seen under the instrument called microscope, and they are too tiny to be seen by the unaided human eye. So these are called microorganisms or microbes, right? So these are called microorganisms, or we can say these are called microorganisms or microbes. These are called microorganisms or microbes. Now, for example, we can say that during rainy season, we see that in bread, the moist bread gets spoiled and its surface gets covered with the grayish white patches. So these can be observed under the magnifying glass. So you will see black rounded structures. And do you know where these structures come from? So these are microorganisms, and the branch of science which deals with microorganisms is called microbiology. So in higher classes, you will be getting a branch of science where you will be studying about these microorganisms in detail. So that branch is called microbiology, and the person who are dealing with this, scientists, are called microbiologists. Is it clear to everyone? Now we will go in bit details about this microorganisms. So microorganisms, they are found everywhere. So let us do some activity. Let us collect some moist soil from a field in a beaker and add some water to it. And after that, after the soil particles have settled down, we observe we will take one drop of water from the beaker and we will see under a microscope. So what do you see? You will see many microscopic organisms or microbes in that water. Now another thing we can do, we can take a few drops of water from a pond, we can spread it on a glass slide and observe through the microscope. So do you find any moving organisms around it? Yes, we do find several moving organisms in this water. So these observations, what they show, that water and soil, they are full of tiny organisms, that is these are microbes. And though they are not all of them, they fall into the category of microbes. This we can say these microorganisms are so small in size that they cannot be seen in unaided eye. Some of them are also fungus that grows on bread and which can be seen in magnifying glass. We have just told above also the same thing, and they cannot be seen without this help of microscope. So microscope is the instrument which is used to see the microorganisms. Now, how do we classify the microorganisms? So they can be classified under 4 major groups. They are bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and algae. So these 4 are the 4 types of we can say the classification of microorganisms. Okay. So viruses are also microscopic, but they are different from the microorganisms. Is it clear? Now, however, they reproduce only inside the cells of the host organism. So viruses, they can't reproduce outside the host body. They need a host to reproduce, and which many of the bacterium or plant or an animal. So the host of that virus may be a bacteria, maybe a plant or an animal. So some of these viruses we will see down in this diagrams. We will be seeing that there are different types of this viruses which are being shown in the diagram. Now some common ailments like viral diseases like cold, influenza, coughs are causes of viruses. Now there are several diseases like polio, chickenpox, and also they are also caused by virus. They are not caused by bacteria or any other organism. Now diseases like dysentery, malaria are caused by protozoans, while typhoid and tuberculosis are caused by bacteria, or they are bacterial diseases. So some of the microorganisms you have already studied about in 6th and 7th. Now we will study a bit in details. So let us see now these two diagrams. These are bacteria. These two diagrams are bacteria. Now what are bacteria? We can say that these are. Now these bacteria, they live together in colonies. You can see that they are staying together in colonies. Okay, so they are living together in colonies, and they are the simplest form of living organisms. We all know that. And most of them are harmless, but few are harmful because they are causing diseases like tuberculosis, cholera, and all. So they vary in sizes, different sizes and all, and their sizes, they can it can be from 0.2 to 2 micron. So based on their shapes and sizes, again these bacteria, they can be classified into Spirilla, Cocci, Bacilli, and Vibrio. So the Spirilla will be, as the name suggests, the Spirilla will be spiral bacteria, Cocci will be sphere or coccus in shape, Bacilli will be rod shaped, and Vibrios will be comma shaped. Now next comes the algae. Now here when you see the algae, the Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra. So algae, what are these? These are simple plant-like organisms. They have cell walls. So here you can see they are having cell walls, and around them they are just like plant cell, and they possess chlorophyll. So they are green in color, they are possessing chlorophyll, and they can make their own food during photosynthesis. They are usually, where they are found, they are usually found in lakes, rivers, hot springs, seas, and also in wastewater. And they mostly grow in moist spaces such as moist soil, rock surfaces, and some of the algae such as unicellular algae, this Chlamydomonas and all, they are these are some algae, they are unicellular, this Chlamydomonas, and these we can say that some algae which are multicellular like Volvox and Spirogyra, these are multicellular. These multicellular, they can again be classified into macroalgae. Okay, so Spirogyra, for example, it is you can see that is form of a filament. So it is in the filamentous form and joined end to end in long chains, and they appear to form as filaments. So now we will move on to protozoa. So these protozoa, what we can say, this protozoa, the word protozoa means little animals. So what protozoa is actually meaning, protozoa is meaning little animals, and they are unicellular. You can see that these two are unicellular, and they can move around to capture food. Most of them are heterotrophic in nature, that is they depend on others for their food. They obtain their nutrition from other organisms. Some of them are parasitic, such as Plasmodium vivax, like the Plasmodium which causes malaria. Okay. Now there are certain other common examples of protozoa like amoeba, very common, paramecium and all. So they are also found in colonies. Is it clear? Now next comes the fungi. Fungi here, these are all non-green organisms with bodies usually made up of thread-like structures called hyphae. You can see these thread-like structures, these are called hyphae, and they were once categorized as non-green plants. However, they are not plants as they lack chlorophyll. Okay, so depending on the mode of nutrition, this fungi are classified into parasitic or saprophytic. Now here we have seen three types of fungi such as bread mold, penicillium and aspergillus. So these are all fungi, and several now except yeast, all fungi are multicellular. Only yeast is unicellular, and we can say that except mushroom, all fungi are microscopic. So mushroom is also a fungi, that is not at all microscopic. We can see it with our naked eye. Okay, is it clear? Now another thing is that we should know that where do these microorganisms actually live? Where are the microorganisms found? So where are these microorganisms found? These microorganisms are found in they can withstand all adverse conditions, right? So these microorganisms are found wherever you can think of. They are present. So microorganisms are found deep inside the earth. They are found in boiling water. They are found in frozen glaciers. They are found in dry deserts, in deep seas. They are also found in schools, colleges, our houses, in a log of wood, in a piece of bread, in our bodies, in animal bodies. They are also found in volcanic eruption or a nuclear blasts. So they are all present in wherever we can't think. Also the microorganisms are present. So they are found everywhere. Is it clear? Now we will move with the beneficial microorganisms and the microorganisms which are causing diseases. Is it clear? So let us move on to the next slide. Now here we will take two pictures of viruses. So viruses, what are viruses? They are extremely tiny organisms that cannot be seen with a simple or a compound microscope. So for viruses there should be electron microscope. Okay, so they cannot be seen with compound, either simple or compound microscope. Only electron microscope is used. Now they do not have any particular structure, but they contain some genetic material surrounded by a protein cover. So the genetic material will be inside and it is surrounded by a protein cover. So this is the genetic material part and this is the protein cover. So in higher classes you will be studying about these viruses in detail. Now a virus always behaves like a living organism inside the body of another organism. So what is the organism called? That is called the host. So now you have gone through a phase of COVID-19, right? So the COVID virus, until and unless it gets into our body, it is a non-living thing. But once it enters into our body, it becomes a living organism. It reproduces there. It carries out other life processes inside the body of a host. And outside the body of a host, it behaves like a non-living thing and it does not show any kind of activity. So that is the main characteristic of a virus, that it is a living organism inside the host body, and outside the host body it is a non-living organism. So therefore most scientists, they believe that viruses lie in the borderline between the living and a non-living. So this is a bacteriophage virus. Some viruses, they are infecting bacteria. So these viruses, bacteriophage, they are infecting bacteria. There are several other viruses also, like polio virus, dengue, chikungunya virus, swine flu virus, tobacco mosaic virus. So these are other viruses like hepatitis virus and also here only two diagrams have been given. So there are many other viruses, right? So let us move on to now. Just now I have told you that where do these microorganisms live. We have already discussed that they are living in different types of environment, like from hot springs to marshy lands to the bodies of animals, including humans also. Some microorganisms, while other, they exist freely. So they are staying in deserts, they are staying in ice cold climate, so they can survive in almost all type of environment. So now let us move on to microorganisms and us. So our life, everywhere there is a microorganism. Some of them are beneficial in many ways, whereas some others are very harmful and they cause disease. So let us study them in detail. Now here first we are going to discuss about some friendly microorganisms. So microorganisms that are used for various purposes, like we can say that they are used for various purposes and they are used in the preparation of curd, they are used in the preparation of bread, and also they are used in the preparation of curd, they are used in the preparation of bread and cake. And we have seen that microorganisms, they help to ferment the idli batter. So if you are taking the rice and dal and you mix it in the form of batter, keep it overnight, the next day you see bubbles and inside that batter, and it has swollen up. So that is also due to the microbial process of fermentation. So microorganisms have been used since ages. Okay, so they have been used since ages for the production of alcohol, and they are also help in cleaning up of the environment. So how they are used for cleaning up of the environment? So we can say that they are actually used for the cleaning up the environment. For example, the organic waste like vegetable peels, they remain the remains of animal feces and broken down harmless into harmless and usable substances by bacteria. So this help in agriculture and increases the soil fertility by mixing the. Now, first important use of this microbes, we can see that they are increasing the soil fertility. So soil fertility by fixing the nitrogen in the soil. So there are several nitrogen fixing bacteria. The names I'll be writing in the next slide. So the name is Nitrobacter, Rhizobium, blue-green algae such as nostoc that convert the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates and nitrites or ammonia. So this like that they increase the fertility of the soil. Now next, when we come to the food industry, that is food and beverage industry is also highly benefited by this beneficial bacteria, like making curd and bread. We can say that the formation of the curd, the protein casein which is present in the milk, that is we can say that it coagulates to form curd. The bacterium lactobacillus which promotes the formation of the curd, and it multiplies this lactobacillus, it multiplies within the milk and converts it into the curd. Okay, so bacteria also they are involved in making the cheese and pickles and many other food items. Now another important thing is that whenever you are preparing anything out of rava, like idlis, suji, baturas and all, we use curd, and curd is mainly used for fermentation. Now bread making industry also uses this microorganisms like yeast, and all cakes and all are made by this presence of bacteria and yeast for the helping of this fermentation. So this fermentation process occurs in rice idlis as well as dosa batter also. So you can see that these are all beneficial effects of bacteria. Now here in this box, this little girl has written that I saw my mother that she added a little curd to a little warm milk to set the curd the next day. So because in this lukewarm milk, if you add curd, the lactobacillus promotes the reproduction in that warm milk, and it settles down as curd, and it is a beneficial bacterium. Is it clear? Now here are several activities like taking half a kg flour, atta or maida and adding some sugar and mix it with warm water. Add some amount of yeast powder. So these are the agents which are increasing the fermentation process. So after the maida is made, the dough is made with yeast powder. After covering it with 2 hours, we can see that dough has swollen up like this. How this is happening? Because the yeast reproduces rapidly and they produce carbon dioxide during the respiration. Now bubbles of gas fill the dough and increase its volume. Now this process of yeast is used in making breads, pastries and cakes. Okay, so there are several commercial uses of microorganisms also. So microorganisms in large scale, they are used for making alcohol, wine, acetic acid, that is vinegar. Yeast is used mostly in alcohol and wine. Now for this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars like in grains like barley, wheat, rice and crushed fruit juices. Okay, so another activity is there at home. If you are taking 500 ml in beaker, filled up 3/4 with water, dissolve 2/3 teaspoons of sugar in it and a spoon of yeast powder to sugar solution. Keep it covered in warm place for 4 to 5 hours. Now smell the solution. Now this smell is the smell of alcohol, as sugar is converted into alcohol by yeast, and this process is called fermentation, and this process was invented by Louis Pasteur in the year 1857. So this is important, very important, that fermentation process was invented by Louis Pasteur in 1857. So what is the process? The process is the conversion of sugar into alcohol. Now these all important definitions I'll be making a note in the next class, and I'll be giving you in short form. So what are microorganisms, what are microbes, what is microbiology, so what are the different types of we can say what are the different types of microorganisms, what are the main definitions and all. I'll be giving you in the next class. Okay, so till today it's still here. We will be studying the medicinal uses of microorganisms. We will be studying in the next class, and I'll be giving you some notes also. So for knowing more regarding this lesson as well as many other lessons which are yet to come, please do subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned, stay updated with all the episodes which I am posting, so that you can learn your science in an easy and in an interesting manner. So please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to share it with your friends. And today's episode is completed here only. Thank you.